Shrek. Shrek 2. Shrek the Third. We're just going to skip that one. Shrek Forever After. Shrek Forever After is one of the more forgotten Shrek movies. Obviously, the biggest one that nobody wants to talk about is Shrek the Third, which we're not even going to get into that. How's it going, everybody? My name is MoeFoeGenius, and welcome back to another video. What we're going to be talking about today is what made Shrek 4, Shrek Forever After, so great. So I'm just going to do a really quick recap of the movie in case you forgot about it. I'm just going to kind of go over like the really broad stuff, and I'll kind of do a bit of a deep down of what I really liked about the movie in just a minute. So, quick recap. Movie starts, Rumpelstiltskin is narrating, Queen Harold. God, I'm stupid. The king and queen visit Rumpelstiltskin to make a deal. Well, they're about to make a deal. Shrek saves Fiona. They rip up the contract. Cut to Shrek. Shrek has kids. Shrek has a family. He's not really enjoying it that much. He isn't a big fan of it. Shrek goes to a birthday party. Shrek isn't happy.
Daddy, he's getting away. Do something.
Shrek is Shrek is stressed. Shrek is stressed out. He's getting angry. He yells. He yells at Fiona. Upset at Fiona. Rumple sees it. Rumple then decides that he wants to trick Shrek to sign a contract, so that way he can ruin Shrek's life. Shrek bumps into him. Rumple makes the deal with him. And then Shrek decides to make the deal. And then basically everything kind of falls apart. Finds out that what he did was actually a mistake because he wished away his family to be gone because he just wanted to do it for a day. Shrek gets kidnapped by witches. Witches take him to Rumple's castle. He also sees Donkey there. Shrek finds out that Rumple kind of lied a bit about the deal. The day that Shrek gave away was that he would never be born. Obviously, Shrek is upset. Shrek escapes, takes Donkey with him. Donkey finds out that there's an exit clause, and the exit clause is true love's kiss. And he only has 24 hours, or till sunrise. Shrek and Donkey finds Fiona's hideout. Shrek and Donkey find Fiona. Shrek tries to woo her, fails. Shrek tries to woo her again, succeeds this time. Almost. They plan an attack. Attack goes sour. Shrek and Fiona escape the attack though. Fiona is willing to give herself up to save the ogres. Rumple sends out a deal of a lifetime, where you can have anything, no strings attached. Shrek goes to that, signs the deal to release the ogres. Ogres are released. Fiona isn't released though. Oh, there's a little twist there because she isn't all ogre. So that happens. Big final fight. Everybody wins in the end. Shrek gets the true love's kiss. They go back to the real world. It goes back to Shrek screaming, and he finds out that he's happy, and he's happy with his family. Story over. So anyways, that's kind of it. Now, if you want to know more about the movie, I would just recommend watching it, renting it, doing whatever. I'm now going to get into the parts that I really liked and what made the movie so great. Number one, it was kind of a soft reboot of the franchise.
Specifically more about forgetting what happened in the previous movie.
What's nice about this film is that you can watch it 1, 2, and 4, and you can still pretty much be fine. The only thing that isn't explained is Shrek having kids, but you can kind of understand if you think like, okay, Shrek 2 and Shrek 4 has like a time gap, so it would kind of make sense that they have kids now. So that part isn't a big deal, and it isn't like gonna erase everything. But yeah, you obviously don't really have to watch the third movie all that much. And I kind of like that. I kind of like how they realized that the third movie was crap, so they decided, you know what? We'll just make the fourth movie a bit better. Number 2, the characters. I think the characters in this movie are really well done. Shrek is probably the best character there. He goes through a great character arc, which I'll go through in a minute. Rumpelstiltskin is a pretty interesting antagonist. Obviously, he's not the most not a lot of depth to him, other than he just wants revenge. So, I mean, it's a very simple revenge story for Rumple, but it isn't too big of a deal in my opinion. Donkey is, of course, Donkey. Puss in Boots is really good. He's still one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. Fiona is also pretty well done. Really, all of the characters especially some of the new characters, I've just really enjoyed. Number 3, Shrek's arc. Almost immediately when we're introduced to Shrek, we already see his arc starting to take place, where he's got to learn that, he has a family now. But he wants things to go back to the way they were, even though he realized that they can't. but he really, really wants that. So when he makes the deal, he's happy for a bit. He's really happy that things are back to normal. He's actually a real ogre. And it's the reason why it's so relatable is because sometimes you think that you want to go back to how things were before. For example, let's say if you had the great high school life or whatever, you may want to go back to that. You may think about times how you missed high school and you want to go back to it. And that's how Shrek was. To Shrek, being a real ogre was like the high school life to him or the college life to him. And he misses that. Now he has a family. Halfway through the movie, he already realizes the mistake that he made and he needs to reverse everything. And by the end of it, he realized that he doesn't care about being a real ogre anymore. He is an ogre, of course, but he doesn't care about being this monster where everybody hates him. He's just happy to have a family again. So Shrek pretty much gets to fall in love with Fiona again. And realizing that it's okay for things to change. Change is good.
You know, I always thought that I rescued you from the Dragon's Keep.
You did.
It was you that rescued me.
The fifth one was the emotional beats of the story. This was probably the most emotional Shrek movie yet. I think the only one that gets close to being the most emotional would be the second movie, but the fourth movie just really ties together all those emotional beats. One of the first ones that we see is when Shrek is holding Felicia's doll and he starts to cry. You really feel for him because he realizes that he made a mistake, and a really, really big mistake, and that he may never get to see his family again. And it hurts, it really does. In the beginning of the movie, Fiona tried to make him realize that he already had everything that he wanted, but Shrek didn't see that. And by the time his family was gone, he realized it was too late now. He may never be able to save his family. And it was I'm about to cry now. It was pretty emotional seeing that. There was also the moment with Fiona and Shrek where they were arguing about why Fiona wasn't there for him. And there's so much depth to that conversation. Fiona says, then where were you? Why didn't he save her from the dragon's den, but also why did he leave her? And what was the reason for it? And I like how there was some depth to that. And obviously the last scene, well, not the last scene, the second to last scene that Shrek and Fiona have is definitely super emotional.
You've already done everything for me, Fiona. You gave me a home and a family.
You have kids.
We have kids. Fergus, Fargo, and a little girl named
Felicia.
The best part of today was I got the chance to fall in love with you all over again.
And the final thing is just overall a great ending to the franchise. If you were to just completely erase the third movie and just keep it as 1, 2, and 4, and have Forever After as the third movie, the franchise would have ended on a really great note. The fourth movie is kind of forgotten, and honestly, some people don't even know they exist. I was talking to my nieces and nephews who were pretty young, and they didn't even realize there was a fourth Shrek movie. They only knew about 1 and 2. And it just offers such a great ending, because you would think, because the very beginning it talks about how Shrek and Fiona are having a happily ever after. But it shows that Shrek isn't having that. Even though Fiona is, Shrek isn't, and it kind of puts a twist on that. But by the very end, he realizes that this is good for him. This is what he wants. He wants a family. He doesn't need to be this ogre, this monster that has to be wanted all the time. So I do think overall, Shrek Forever After is a very underrated Shrek movie, but I just really wanted to talk about my favorite moments of the movie and why they made it so good. Now obviously the fourth movie doesn't stand close to the second or the first movie. I think those two movies are just incredible. The fourth movie does still do a great job of being able to wrap everything up and do it so well. Obviously the third movie is the black sheep, and the fourth movie is almost the forgotten one. But I think the fourth movie deserves recognition. I really do think so. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below what other videos you want to see and other discussion questions that you might have. So that's all. Thank you guys.